I've heard quite a few people focus on Alamesia, and I've asked the question: if you are talking, because they ask, are we legalizing corruption? Assuming that yes, he was convicted on charges of corruption, are we legalizing coups? Are we legalizing the destruction of the democratic fabric? General Dia has been pardoned. But most importantly, I notice that people are laying the blame or giving the credit, whichever way you look at it, to President Goodluck Jonathan as being the one who has pardoned him. But it was the Council of States. It had all the former presidents there. It had governors there. Shagari was there. Buhari is involved. So you can say it was Buhari, Shagari, Babangida that joined Shonekon, Obasanjo, that joined hands in pardoning Alameseha, Bulama, Dia, and others. As to the morality involved, I think that is a question that is always begging an answer when it comes to the issue of amnesty or pardon. It is the prerogative of that individual who has the power to so exercise, and I will not sit down to question his right.
Okay, now I just said we should start with that before we now go into other things. Like, how do you react to this mind-boggling declaration that about 60,000 barrels of oil are being stolen every day? I mean, that's from Shell alone. How did that grab you?
I thought they are big liars, because I am confident that close to 1 million barrels of oil are being stolen daily in Nigeria. And we've said that repeatedly. We've said that the biggest, for example, during the Niger Delta insurgency period, there was the emphasis on these youths are stealing oil. And I kept saying, if you trace the oil thefts and you look at the scales, the youths were, yes, involved in some illegal bunkering, but nothing close to even 10%. About 90%, or let me say about 60% of the illegal bunkering was being carried out by the oil multinationals themselves, in complicity with the NNPC. The rest, about 30 or more percent, were being carried out by mainly very powerful politicians who mostly are or were ex-generals in the Navy, in the Air Force, in the Army, and some people who were even ex-customs officers. We have had, it is on record that I was said to have disclosed to the American ambassador and some other people at meetings that yes, bunkering is being carried out by Intel. And who owns Intel? Intel is owned mainly by the Yaradua family, run mainly by Atiku Abubakar, and shares are owned by major members of the Army, the Air Force, the Navy. And I'm not talking of people just from, say, maybe I mentioned Northerners. No.
Across the country.
All shades of Nigerians.
Now, my question, therefore, is if we have, or if we've had this much level of insight as to where the thievery was coming from or being masterminded, why have we not been able to do something? I mean, okay, let's just, let's beg the issue. Why don't we have Niger Delta interests do something to make sure that this is?
First of all, one of the men in Nigeria whom I have a lot of respect for is Professor Wole Soyinka, and he has said we have a proclivity for general or selective amnesia. We choose to forget, ignore, or be blind to certain realities and truths. this obtains in virtually every sector. So one shouldn't be surprised that the major sector of the nation, because the economy drives a nation, and the major sector of the economy is oil and gas at the moment, which it shouldn't be, will definitely have a lot of amnesia, selective, illegal, dubious, intentional, unintentional, basically people choosing or not even knowing that they are forgetting what they should really be putting on the front burner. I have heard, and I was very much in support of the fact that the late President Yaradua, when he went into Davos, he said, and President Goodluck Jonathan has said the same thing over and over again, every nation's oil has its own peculiarities.
Okay.
So you can mark the oil. You can identify oil. The way they were able to identify and know about blood diamonds, there is blood oil being stolen from Nigeria by mainly foreign nations. Because this oil, we are not the ones we can't even refine for ourselves. So when it's stolen, if you fly over the Cotton Channel, if you stay in a helicopter, you'll see lines of barges carrying illegal oil. And you'll see naval ships standing by doing nothing. Therefore, maybe they are preoccupied in looking at
security
in other areas of security. I do not know. I'm not laying any blame on the serving officers, but it's like saying you have JTF around, and then you have armed robbery going on. Well, I don't know what would be interesting JTF other than, say, armed robbery. But, well, this is what is happening. Those nations that are involved in buying the stolen crude should be indicted, along with those people in Nigeria that are joining them to steal the crude. It's not just a one.